Did you know that something as routine as your daily shower could trigger a stroke within hours, especially if you're over 60? I'm Dr. Elena Carter, a physician with over 10 years specializing in health and quality of life for people above 50, and today I'm going to reveal 5 showering mistakes that significantly increase your stroke risk. I'll explain why bathing right after dinner is dangerous, how water temperature above 104 degrees Fahrenheit can form blood clots in your brain, and the shocking reason why that relaxing, steam-filled bathroom might be silently suffocating your cerebral function. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to adjust your bathing routine to protect yourself from these hidden dangers. What troubles me most after 2 decades of treating stroke patients isn't the obvious cases like longtime smokers or those with severe heart conditions. What genuinely concerns me are the seemingly healthy older adults who followed every health recommendation, yet still end up in the emergency room unable to speak or move their limbs, all because of something as innocent as their daily bath. Very few people understand this connection. Medical professionals rarely discuss it, families don't recognize the warning signs, and hospital discharge papers almost never mention it, yet these incidents happen every single day in thousands of homes to people just like you. Before we continue, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now and turn on notifications so you never miss crucial health advice designed specifically for your age group. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need this information. Let me share a story that fundamentally changed how I view this issue. I treated a patient named Catherine, who was 73 years old. She was vibrant, energetic, and had lived independently in her home for over 40 years. Every evening at 9 o'clock, she took a hot bath. It was her sacred ritual for easing aches and unwinding before bed. One Tuesday night seemed completely ordinary. Warm water flowed over her body, providing that familiar, comforting sensation. But 20 minutes later, while drying off, something went terribly wrong. She felt dizzy and nauseous. When her daughter discovered her the next morning, Catherine could barely form words, couldn't move her right arm, and had no understanding of how her life had been turned upside down. The stroke stole her independence in mere hours, and the trigger was that seemingly harmless and restorative bath. What Catherine didn't know, and almost nobody realizes, is that after turning 60, our bodies no longer tolerate the same bathing habits that served us well for decades. Tonight, I'm going to explain exactly why this happens, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself. Let's start with the most dangerous habit: taking extremely hot baths right before bedtime. You know that bath that relaxes everything, your muscles, joints, and fatigue? It's tempting, isn't it? But here's the critical problem. When water temperature exceeds 104 degrees Fahrenheit, your blood vessels dilate rapidly, like balloons being inflated. This vasodilation causes a sudden drop in blood pressure, sometimes 20 to 30 points within minutes. For young people with flexible arteries, this might go unnoticed. But for those over 60 with less elastic vessels, this change can be extremely dangerous. The vessels have stiffened, the heart works harder to pump blood, and that sudden pressure drop isn't just a momentary inconvenience. It can deprive your brain of the oxygen it desperately needs. This isn't merely about a fleeting dizzy spell. When pressure in aging arteries drops, blood flow decreases dramatically, and as blood circulates slowly, it becomes a breeding ground for clots, true silent killers. These clots can lodge in cerebral arteries and trigger sudden, devastating strokes. I'll never forget Richard, a patient who deeply impacted me. He was 78 years old, a retired teacher who for 15 years ended his days with a 20-minute hot shower that fogged up every mirror in the house. He called it his therapy session, but one evening, just minutes after stepping out of the shower, Richard collapsed in his bedroom. His wife found him unable to speak, with one side of his mouth drooping. At the hospital, tests confirmed my suspicions. A large clot had formed during the pressure drop caused by the hot shower. It traveled to his brain and blocked a crucial artery. The bath he believed was self-care actually set the stage for tragedy. What you need to understand is straightforward. Your body at 70 is not the same as it was at 40. Those once adaptable vessels now struggle to maintain stable pressure. Every excessively hot shower is like playing Russian roulette with your circulatory system. And that's just the beginning. If you think water heat is the only bathroom danger, wait until you learn about the next mistake, which could be even more serious. If you've made it this far and believe this information is important, leave me a comment so I know you're following along. The second dangerous habit is showering immediately after eating or taking medication. Picture this common scenario in thousands of households. You finish dinner, take your blood pressure medication, and hop in the shower. Seems logical, right? But this routine could be your biggest mistake. After a substantial meal, your body automatically diverts blood flow from the brain to the digestive system. This is normal, but it means your brain receives less blood temporarily. If you then shower with hot water, even more blood gets directed to your skin. The result? Your brain, your command center, starts operating on dangerously low energy. The same thing happens with certain drugs. Antihypertensive medications, some cardiac drugs, and even pain relievers can alter your hemodynamics, making you more vulnerable to shower-induced low blood pressure. When these factors combine, the risk multiplies exponentially. I remember Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who learned this the hard way. Every night, after dinner and taking her medication, she took a hot bath to help her fall asleep. This was her routine for years, until one night, 10 minutes after showering, the world started spinning. When paramedics arrived, Eleanor was unconscious on the bathroom floor. The impact was swift and merciless. Her pressure dropped so low that a clot formed in a weakened artery, blocking the area of the brain responsible for speech. Eleanor survived, but she never spoke clearly again. That's why choosing the right time to bathe is more important than we realize. As the brain ages, it tolerates sudden changes in blood flow less effectively. When circulation drops, clots begin forming, and if they break loose, they can cause a stroke. Worse still, brain tissue that dies cannot regenerate. The rule is simple. Wait at least 1 hour after eating or taking medication before showering. Give your body time to adjust. Your brain depends on it, and if you think dangers are limited to excessively hot water or poor timing, the next habit is perhaps the most surprising because it involves something present in every bathroom that most older people don't even consider dangerous. The third dangerous habit is taking long showers in humid, poorly ventilated bathrooms. Imagine the scene. You close the door, turn on the hot water, and let the steam envelope you, transforming the bathroom into a personal sauna. The sensation is delightful, almost luxurious. Heat penetrates tired muscles, and for a few minutes, you feel renewed. But this comfort can be a silent trap. When hot water generates steam in an enclosed space, it doesn't just fog up mirrors, it also depletes oxygen in the air. Simultaneously, the heat dilates vessels and lowers pressure. If you combine oxygen-poor air with an aging, unstable circulatory system, you get the perfect recipe for a cerebral emergency. Blood becomes more viscous as oxygen levels decrease and flows slowly through already narrowed arteries. That sluggish circulation creates the ideal environment for clot formation that can obstruct vital brain arteries within minutes. I know Thomas, a 71-year-old mechanic who loved long, very hot showers. Every morning, he spent about 25 minutes in a small bathroom without ventilation, surrounded by dense fog like being inside a cloud. He claimed it helped with his arthritis. But one morning, his wife heard a thud and found him lying on the floor, barely conscious, with lips turning blue from oxygen deprivation. At the hospital, we learned that several microclots had formed in that oxygen-depleted environment. Those silent strokes began damaging his brain tissue. Thomas survived, but his memory was never the same. The fog that seemed so relaxing was actually suffocating his brain. This is the reality almost nobody knows about bathroom steam. It's not just heat, it's a gradual reduction of oxygen reaching the brain. Every minute trapped in that humid environment is another minute your aging circulation struggles to deliver vital oxygen to your most important organ. Therefore, shower for less than 10 minutes and always ensure good ventilation. Open a window or turn on an exhaust fan. Never stay locked in a steam-filled room thinking it's harmless, because the damage happens silently until it's too late. And if you think only hot, steamy showers are dangerous, wait until you learn about the risks of cold showers. The fourth dangerous habit is exposing yourself suddenly to cold water, especially first thing in the morning. Today, it's impossible not to see people enthusiastic about cold showers. Fitness influencers, health gurus, and even some doctors recommend them for waking up the body. For those in their 20s with elastic arteries, it might work, but for those over 60 with more rigid vessels and a heart that's no longer as powerful, that cold shock can be a death trap. When cold water touches your skin, vessels constrict suddenly. It's the natural response to cold, like slamming the brakes on a car at full speed. Blood pressure skyrockets, sometimes 40 or 50 points in seconds. If your arteries are already narrowed by cholesterol deposits or stiffened by age, that pressure spike can cause micro tears in the walls. What does the body do? It forms clots to repair the damage, but those clots can break loose and travel straight to the brain. I'll never forget James, 68 years old, a man proud of his health. After watching a program praising cold therapy, he decided to start each morning with an ice-cold shower. "It makes me feel alive," he said. For weeks it seemed fine, until one Monday his wife heard a noise and found him passed out in the shower. When paramedics arrived, James couldn't move his left side. He was slurring his words. His face was drooping on one side. The CT scan showed the worst. A massive stroke caused by a clot formed precisely during that pressure spike. The cold shock he believed was invigorating ended up injuring his fragile arterial walls. The clot reached his brain in minutes. The man who just wanted to feel more alive nearly lost his life. This is the cruel irony of cold showers in older adults. What energizes a young body can be a death sentence for weakened vessels. At 70, your arteries cannot handle abrupt thermal changes. If you want to cool off, start slowly. Use warm water and cool it gradually. Never subject yourself suddenly to extreme temperatures. And although cold is dangerous, you might be surprised by the final mistake that millions of older people make every night without realizing it. A mistake that sets the stage for disaster while they sleep. The fifth dangerous habit is showering very late, right before going to bed. This is perhaps the most common and also the most dangerous mistake, precisely because it occurs while we're sleeping, when we're most vulnerable and least capable of asking for help. For millions of older people, a hot bath before bed is the perfect ritual to close the day. The house is quiet, stress dissipates, and that warm water seems ideal for relaxation. It's a moment of comfort that appears innocuous, but that's where the risk lies. This habit can create a silent trap for suffering a stroke while you're dreaming. What happens in your body when you shower very late? Your internal temperature rises, while your biological clock, your circadian rhythm, tries to do the opposite, cool you down for sleep. This conflict overloads the cardiovascular system. Hot water dilates vessels, carrying blood to the skin and away from vital organs. And as your body tries to cool down, you lose fluid through perspiration, even if you don't notice it. For a young body, it's manageable. For those over 60, especially if taking antihypertensives or diuretics, the combination can be fatal. Dehydration plus nocturnal low pressure. When you're dehydrated, blood becomes thicker and flows slowly through already rigid arteries. During sleep, that reduced circulation creates the perfect environment for clots that can lodge in cerebral arteries and cause a stroke right when you're unconscious. One of the stories that most marked me was Dorothy, an 82-year-old woman who lived alone. Every night at 11 o'clock, she took a hot bath, her moment of peace after a full day caring for family. One morning, her son called and noticed something odd. Dorothy was having difficulty speaking. Upon arriving at her house, he found her confused, sitting on the sofa, unable to move her right hand. At the hospital, we discovered she had suffered a stroke during the night. Tests showed dehydration, and her blood pressure confirmed what we suspected. That bath, which seemed to help her relax, created the perfect environment for a clot to form while she slept. Dorothy survived, but never regained her full independence. The routine she believed was beneficial was actually what took it away from her. So pay attention. Your aging brain no longer manages circulatory changes as well as before. At night, when pressure naturally descends and your body repairs itself, the additional stress of a late shower can be too much. If you like showering at night, do it earlier, no later than 8 o'clock. Give your body time to rebalance before bed, and don't forget to hydrate well after showering. Protect your brain during these vulnerable hours, because nocturnal strokes are the cruelest. They steal your future while you're dreaming about it. After learning about these 5 dangerous habits, it's normal to feel somewhat frightened or overwhelmed. That's not my intention. My goal is to provide you with useful knowledge that could literally save your life. The truth is simple, though unsettling. Aging changes everything. Your heart no longer beats with the same force. Your vessels become more rigid. Your kidneys filter more slowly. Your body reacts differently to temperature changes, and your brain depends on a delicate balance of oxygen, blood flow, and stable pressure. Even something as routine as showering can throw everything off balance if we don't carefully consider timing, temperature, and duration. That's exactly what I've seen in many stroke cases that didn't arise from obvious risk factors, but from habits we would never imagine were dangerous. The good news is that knowledge is power. With simple adjustments to how, when, and where you shower, you can protect yourself from these hidden risks. Don't stay in the shower longer than 10 minutes. Avoid extreme temperatures. Opt for warm water that doesn't punish your system. Never bathe immediately after meals or after taking medications. Ensure ventilation by opening a window or turning on an exhaust fan. And most importantly, shower earlier in the evening to give your body time to recover and stabilize before going to bed. Pay attention to warning signs. Dizziness, sudden weakness, blurred vision. These aren't just part of aging. They're clear warnings that your brain is at risk. Life can change in an instant if a clot lodges in the wrong place. Independence lost in seconds. Words stolen in a single night. But I've also seen the other side. Simple changes in awareness, respecting your body's limits, and adjusting small details of your routine help you age strong, safe, and independent for much longer. Take care of yourself. Your body is precious, and bathing, when done carefully, can be your moment of self-care, not a hidden danger. If this video has been helpful, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share it with someone who needs this information. Leave a comment telling me what you learned today or sharing your own experiences. Your engagement helps us reach more people and could literally save lives. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.